Hi everyone, and welcome back to our latest episode of Under the Palms, where we're talking all about season 13, episode 2. Francesca, welcome to Under the Palms.
Hello.
It's just the hello experts this week, but that's all good because we are a little bit obsessed with Death in Paradise. Still waiting for our press trip invitations though, aren't we?
We are.
We would love to go to Guadeloupe. We're just throwing that out there for anyone who might be watching, cast, crew, or...
Please invite us. We're big fans.
We want to come to Saint Marie, but we don't want to go for the murder, which this week, Francesca, happened in the strangest of places at Bingo. So, bit of a bizarre episode. I gotta say, maybe not my favourite episode that's ever happened. What did you think?
Yeah, agreed. It did seem a bit random, didn't it? I mean, I love the fact that Death in Paradise does have random deaths. You know, that's the whole point of the show, isn't it? You know, each episode is in a very different location. That's kind of like its bread and butter, isn't it? But yeah, I know what you mean.
So this week we had some feuding OAPs. We had, like a sort of historical case that it all linked back to. I mean, it is clever how they add the layers on it. But I did just think it was kind of fundamentally funny that one of the things was like really pivoted on the fact that one woman hated another woman because she started bingo and was better at bingo than the other lady. But as per usual, you know, you've got the crime solving gang. But there did seem, and I think the show is doing it more and more, a lot more interpersonal elements from the characters, the characters' own lives that aren't to do with the case. And, you know, since we're coming up to Valentine's Day, Francesca, I think we should discuss it because I think there's a lot of potential unfulfilled relationships there.
Definitely. And I think we really noticed that in the last season as well, with Ralph's storyline with Sophie kind of being weaved throughout, even though it didn't end up in the way that he wanted it to. But I think that in conjunction with the...
statement.
Yeah. Unstable, obstetric. Poor Neville. Poor
arrested Nev.
Bless him. But that kind of like weaved throughout as well as the case. I think, I don't know, it just adds another layer, doesn't it? But yeah, I think they are clearly, I don't know, maybe the writers saw what a good reaction that had and they're kind of leaning into it a bit more this series. But I think, yeah, I agree. I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a good thing. I'm like so invested in it. Like the season 12 2-part finale when Neville was arrested and they had to work out who it was. I was like, this is like brilliant.
I know.
This is like line of G, like when he's slow motion going around trying to find the set of keys.
Yeah.
To find out who had I was like, this is absolutely outstanding television.
So good.
So it's really exciting that they're sort of carrying on that kind of vibe. And I think the cast, like, you know, from speaking to them for you spoke to them for the Christmas special, I spoke to them about series 13, and it seems like it's something they are really keen to carry on as well. But I don't know if you've noticed this, Francesca, I certainly have. It seems like they are really hinting that Florence is going to come back into Neville's life some way and like they will actually be together. So what do you reckon? Do you think it's going to happen? And will you be happy about it if it does?
Definitely. I think Florence coming back has been something that they've teased ever since she left. And even before she left and we knew that Josephine was leaving, I don't know, it's never felt like the end of the story for her. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's, even though the storyline went the way that it did, I don't think it's ever felt like the end. And so I think there is definitely scope for her to return. And they know that, again, I think the writers know that the fans want that. And that would just be such like a full circle arc, wouldn't it? It'd be great.
You're so right. I mean, I think obviously for reasons that, you know, the actress that plays Florence, Josephine Sher, wanted to leave again, which, you know, absolutely fine. Like, you know, she's done it for a really, really long time. I think for the sake of keeping Neville in the show, it's hard just to put them together. So, you know, they created this, like, you know, she sort of sees him as a friend, but then she's in this witness protection situation. But, like, I don't think it's put to bed either because especially this series, because he's looking at photos, pining for her. Like this latest episode, he spoke to the commissioner about her and was like, do you think she's doing okay? I mean, obviously, a whole witness protection link led to him, like, cracking the case. But I think there's more to it than that. I think, and my theory, do you want to hear my theory?
Go on, tell us.
I've thought about this a lot. And I think that when Ralph Little leaves Death in Paradise, the conclusion of his storyline will be that he is reuniting with Florence, and then we'll see Josephine come back for a cameo.
I think that makes so much more sense, and I think that's far more likely than her coming back to be like a permanent fixture in the show. I think that's more likely. And it's like quite reminiscent of Chris Marshall's arc as well. Obviously, the storylines were different and the plot was different, but like he left with his lady love, and like the idea was that he was leaving to go be with her. So I feel like I can't see what other reason why Neville would leave the island.
Unless he also had to go into witness protection. I don't know how that works. I don't know whether witness protection is not just some like island.
Just this big house where everyone just...
Well, you never know. He could request the same like witness protection detail or something. Or like the person that put Florence in witness protection is like, I got you. I know where to put you. But, you know, do you think Ralph's tenure is coming? Because he's the longest serving detective for a long time now. Do you think maybe this series is it and they're just keeping it really under wraps?
I don't know. I mean, we know they've confirmed season 14, but you're right, they've been coy about, you know, they haven't necessarily given all the details. And so, I don't know, maybe we'll get, you know, like I think it was Ardell who was before Ralph, who kind of left halfway through the new series. And maybe that will happen. So even if we don't find out anytime soon, it may be that when season 14 comes around, we realise, oh, he's only going to be in 2 or 3 and then they'll bring someone new in. I don't know. It's hard because I feel like Ralph really enjoys it.
You're so right. It's like, you know, during Ralph's sort of tenure on the show, it's like they've announced 2 spin-off series. They've done Christmas specials for the first time. The viewership of it's been like amazing. Every time, like I've spoken to Ralph several occasions, you have too. It's like it's like palpable how much he like loves the show. But yeah, but the hints of Florence is what's making me nervous.
Yeah, and the thing is that the die-hard fans know all of this. They know that the lead detective is on rotation. They know that, like, they'll be the same as us. They'll be thinking, oh God, does that mean that he's going to leave? You know, I think there's only going to be more and more hints as the series goes on as well. And they know that.
Yeah, so maybe they're toying with us. So another thing that we saw in episode 2 was Naomi kind of throwing herself out there and being like kind of forced on double dates with Darlene. And it's I get the impression that she's not having the time of her life with it. And like from the preview for episode 3, it also looks like Marlon is starting to be a bit like, you know, where's my invitation? You know, that kind of thing. Obviously they had that little smooch at the Christmas special. I don't know whether this is like a big old slow burn for those two. What do you reckon?
Yeah, again, I think similar with Florence and Neville, there's not as strong hints, but there have been hints in the past about Naomi and Marlon, hasn't there? So, and again, I think it's something that the fans have picked up on, and I think that they would really like to see. I don't know. I think if it does become a thing, I think you're right. It'll be like a slow burn.
Bit of a feminist perspective here, just like automatically having like the detective sergeant shoved into a romance with like the only other handsome bachelor of her age in the office is a bit like, oh, does that have to happen? But then at the same time, you know, if it's like very organic process, they've both been in the series at like a couple of years now, so nothing's been rushed or whatever. So I don't know. I think I'd be fine with it happening. And then also on the flip side, like it wouldn't mean anything for them like staying in the show or leaving or anything. It wouldn't mark the end of their time. Like they could have a relationship on the show and still work together.
Yeah, this is the thing, like the relationship doesn't have to be, like you say, the marker of the end of something. It could just be the beginning of something. But it could also mean that the writers have a bit more of a scope to add, you know, more of a dramatic element to the show. I'm just thinking, like, you know, if they will get in the way of their relationship, and will it mean that there's tension there? Or I don't know, I feel like there's lots of possibilities for them to explore, but they might be a bit cautious about the fan reaction.
They might be, but I think that the general gist that I get from Twitter and the rest of it is that people are very on board.
Yeah,
that happen. So you know,
it'd be cute, wouldn't it? It'd be really cute to see.
It'd be so cute. It'd be so cute. And finally, I like, this is one that I'm not too sure about, but I'm gonna see what you think. And like, by all means, if you're watching, if you're joining us, leave your comments. Let us know what you think about this as well. Catherine and the Commissioner. What are we thinking? Because this last episode, she's been looking after him quite a lot. They had this really banterous relationship. I'm a bit like, why not?
Yeah, again, it's one of those things where it's a bit like, it could be absolutely fine and it could be a really lovely thing to witness. But then equally, it's a bit like, are they just doing it for the sake of it?
And those two, they've been on the show since 2011.
Exactly.
If it was going to happen by now, I think it would have.
I think what's more likely with them is that they'll drop these little hints to make people like us, you know, have their interest piqued and be like, oh, I wonder if there's something, imagine what that would be. But actually, I'm not sure that anything will come of it. And it'll just be like one of those kind of romantic storylines. Oh, what could have been? Do you know what I mean?
I'm with you, yeah. But you know, we can only dream. We can only watch and wait.
Yeah, we'll have to find out. Exactly.
We'll have to find out. Thank you so much for joining us for our latest episode of Under the Palms. Please leave your comments and your thoughts and your theories on what to expect this series. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and head over to hellomagazine.com in the meantime for all of the latest Desert Paradise news. And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.